How did one fresh start with my newly divorced ex end with a judge handing my husband everything in one clean decision? Why did the papers get delivered to me in a public lobby, with my co-workers watching, like I was the problem on record? I kept saying I was the victim, until the court read my own words back to me. My name is Undine Pierce, and I used to think my marriage was a story I could edit. I worked as a marketing coordinator at a tech company, and I knew how to shape words so people felt a certain way. I did the same thing at home. I told myself it was survival. I told myself I was only making things clear. That week started in our kitchen, with the morning light on the counter and the kids eating cereal like the world was simple. Ethan stood by the sink. He looked tired, but he still packed lunches. He asked if I could sit for a minute. I said I was already late. He asked why I'd been coming home after the kids were in bed. I said the office had deadlines. He asked why my phone always faced down on the table. I said he was acting paranoid. I watched his face for anger. I wanted it. Anger would prove my point. But he stayed careful. He asked if we could agree on a schedule for the week, just so the kids had routine. I said he was trying to control me with lists. I said he had turned our home into a system. Ava looked up at him, then at me. She asked if we were fighting again. I said we were not fighting. I said Dad was just stressed. Miles asked if I could take him to school later. I said I had meetings. Ethan said he could do drop-off. I acted like that was a problem, even though it helped me. I remember how I stood in the doorway with my coat on and my bag in my hand, and I still felt like I was the one being hurt. Ethan asked if I could be home by dinner. I said I would try, like he was asking for something unreasonable. He said he only wanted one clear answer. I said he was making a big deal out of nothing. In the driveway, I started my car fast. I told myself I was escaping. I was not escaping. I was choosing. But I did not like that word. It felt too honest. At work, the office looked the same as always. Bright screens, coffee smell, people talking about weekend plans. I liked that no one there knew the full truth. I opened my calendar and saw the block I had made. Meeting, personal. I made it sound clean. It looked like work. That was the point. My manager, Kelsey, asked if I could send a report before noon. I said yes. She asked if everything was okay at home because I looked distracted lately. I smiled and said I was just busy. I made my face soft, like I was holding a heavy life. People respect that. People give you space. Around mid-morning, my phone lit up with a message from Sutter. His name still made me feel like I was younger and more wanted. He asked if I still wanted coffee. I said yes. I told myself it was not wrong because it was only coffee. I told myself I was not doing anything bad. I was just talking to someone who understood me. I walked to the coffee shop near the office. It had pale wood tables and small plants in the windows. Graham was already there. He looked relaxed, like he had all the time in the world. He asked if Ethan was still being difficult. I said Ethan was controlling. I said he questioned everything. I said he acted like a father, not a partner. I said I felt trapped. Graham listened like he was the safe place. He asked if I missed what we had. I said it was complicated. I said I was trying to do the right thing for the kids. I said Ethan pushed me away. I said I needed to feel like myself again. Even as I said those words, I knew they were shaped. I did not say that Ethan still washed the dishes every night. I did not say he still read to Miles when Miles asked. I did not say he tried to talk without shouting. That did not help my story. Graham told me his divorce was finally done. He said he felt free. He asked if I ever thought about starting over. I said I did not know. I said I felt invisible at home. I let him hold my hand on the table for a moment. I kept my eyes on the window, like I was cautious and moral. Inside, I felt proud. I felt chosen. When I got back to the office, I acted normal. I sent the report. I answered emails. I laughed at a co-worker's joke. I was good at switching faces. I had practiced for years. Later, a coworker named Janelle messaged me and asked if I wanted to join friends for drinks later in the week. I said yes right away. I wanted witnesses on my side. I wanted people to see me smiling so they would believe I had a reason. That evening, when I came home, Ethan was in the living room with the kids. Ava was coloring. Miles was building a tower. Ethan asked how my day was. I said it was exhausting. He asked if we could talk after the kids went to bed. I said I was too tired. He said it mattered. I said he always picked the worst time. After bedtime, he asked again. He asked if I had seen Graham. I felt heat in my chest, not because I was innocent, but because I did not want to lose control. I asked why he was accusing me. He said he was not accusing. He was asking. I said he was insecure. I said he was imagining things because he needed a villain. I said he wanted to punish me for having friends. He asked what I wanted. I said I wanted respect. I said I wanted space. I said I wanted him to stop treating me like a suspect. He asked what space meant. I said he should know if he cared. He did not yell. He did not call me names. He only nodded once, like he was taking a note in his head. That calm made me angry. I wanted him messy. I wanted him to break the rules so I could point and say, "See?" I went upstairs, and I heard a small sound from the hallway office area. A drawer opened and closed. Then I heard a click, like a lock. I paused on the landing and listened. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was hiding something. I told myself I was right to protect myself first. When I walked back down for water, Ethan's phone lit up on the table for a second. I saw a calendar reminder. Downtown 10:40 a.m. It looked plain. No details. Just a time and place. I asked what it was. He said it was a personal meeting. I said he was keeping secrets. He said he was allowed to have privacy too. That felt like a challenge. I went to bed with my phone in my hand and my mind full of plans. I told myself I would control the story before he could. I told myself Ethan was the problem, and I was only doing what I had to do. I still believed that as I fell asleep, even with the drawer's click echoing in my head. 2 days later, I acted like nothing was wrong. I moved through the morning like a person with a plan. I made coffee, but I kept my cup in my hand the whole time, like the counter belonged to him now. Ethan was already up. He had the kids' bags lined up by the door, neat and ready. He asked if I could confirm pickup for Thursday. I said he was acting like a manager. He said he only wanted clarity. I said clarity was another word for control. Ava listened without looking up. Miles asked if Dad could come to his school thing next week. Ethan said he would be there. I said I would try, like I was doing him a favor. When I got to the office, I checked my phone before I even sat down. I wanted a message from Graham. I wanted proof that someone wanted me. When nothing came, I felt annoyed, and I blamed Ethan for that feeling too, even though he was not in the room. Janelle messaged again about drinks. She said it would be fun and that I needed to get out. I said I agreed. I told myself I deserved it. I told myself Ethan had pushed me into it by being cold. I kept using that word because it made me sound brave. That night, I told Ethan I was meeting co-workers. He asked where. I said downtown. He asked what time I would be home. I said late. He asked if I could at least text before midnight so he could plan the morning. I said he was acting like I needed permission. He said it was not permission, it was parenting. I said he was twisting everything. He did not argue back the way I wanted. He just nodded once, like he was saving his breath. Then he walked to the kitchen counter and wrote something on a small sticky note. I could not see what it said. I asked what he was writing. He said it was a reminder. I said he was making records like I was a criminal. He said he was organizing the week. At the rooftop bar, the air was cold and the lights were bright. People took pictures of their drinks, like it was proof they had lives. Janelle hugged me hard and asked if Ethan had apologized yet. I said he had not. I said he had been distant and controlling. I said he acted like I owed him every minute. A coworker named Pete asked what was going on. I said I was dealing with a hard marriage. I said Ethan was a good dad, but a bad partner. I said he treated me like a schedule. I made my voice sound tired and patient. I knew how to do that. I watched people's faces change to sympathy, and it felt like power. Janelle asked if I was still talking to my ex. I said it was complicated. I said Graham was someone who understood me. I said Ethan never listened the way Graham listened. Janelle told me I should not feel guilty for needing attention. I said guilt was a tool men use. Everyone laughed, and I let that laughter land on Ethan's name like a small slap. I posted a story on social media. I took a photo of my drink, the city lights behind it, and I wrote a line about choosing myself. I knew Ethan would see it. I wanted him to. I wanted him to feel left behind. I told myself it was fair. A few minutes later, Graham finally messaged. He asked how my night was. I said I was out with friends and feeling better. He asked if I missed him. I said I did. I typed it fast. I did not think about the kids asleep at home. I thought about how it felt to be wanted. Janelle leaned close and asked if I wanted a picture together. I said yes. We took it, smiling wide. She said I looked lighter. I said I felt lighter. That was not true. I felt sharp, like I was running on anger and sugar. When I got home, the house was quiet. Ethan was on the couch with a blanket, not in the bedroom. I noticed a small change on the coffee table. 2 remotes were separated, like they belonged to 2 different people. On the counter, there were 2 mugs, washed and turned upside down, but placed far apart. It was a stupid detail, and it still made me feel judged. Ethan looked up when I came in. He asked if I got home safe. I said yes. He asked if I could talk for 5 minutes. I said it was too late. He said it would not take long. I said he always chose a bad moment. He asked if I had posted that story to make him look bad. I said he was overreacting. He said he was not overreacting, he was asking. I said he was trying to police my feelings. He said feelings were not the issue. Public stories were the issue. I said he cared more about image than my happiness. He said he cared about the kids seeing it later. I told him the kids would not see it. He said the internet lasts. I said he was dramatic. He asked if I could stop posting about private things. I said he was ashamed because he knew he was wrong. I said if he treated me better, I would not need to post anything. He asked if I was seeing Graham. I felt my stomach tighten. I asked why he kept bringing up Graham. He said he noticed patterns. I said he was imagining patterns because he was insecure. He said he had not insulted me once, and he did not plan to start now. That calm tone made me feel small, so I pushed harder. I said he was punishing me with silence and distance. He said he was trying to keep the house calm. I said calm was another word for cold. He asked if I wanted to separate. I said he wanted that, not me. He said he wanted stability, and stability needed honesty. I said honesty was a trap people use to control the story. He stood up and walked toward the hallway office area. I followed a few steps behind because I needed to see what he was doing. I heard a soft beep, like a phone app starting. I asked what that was. He said it was nothing and asked me to go to bed. I said he was hiding something. He said I should rest. In the kitchen, I noticed a folder on the counter with a simple label. Utilities. Next to it was another that said bank. That looked normal, but it felt like a line had been drawn. I asked why those were out. He said he was sorting paperwork. I said he never sorted paperwork before. He said he was doing it now. I went upstairs and sat on the edge of the bed, still wearing my jacket. My phone buzzed again. Janelle had sent a screenshot of my story with heart emojis. She said I was finally standing up for myself. I stared at the screen and felt both proud and nervous. When Ethan came into the doorway, he did not step inside. He asked if I could promise one thing, just for the kids. He asked if I could be clear about where I would be and when. I said he was treating me like a child. He said he was treating the week like reality. I did not give him the promise. I told myself I did not owe it. I told myself he was the reason I had to live this way. Then I turned my phone face down on the bed and tried to sleep, while he walked away without another word. By the weekend, I felt like I had built two lives on top of each other. One life was the wife and mother, the one who showed up for school bags and birthday lists. The other life was the woman who said she was finding herself, like that made everything clean. On Saturday morning, Ethan was already dressed when I came downstairs. He had a list on the counter with groceries and the kids' snack requests. He asked if I could take Ava to the library later. I said I had errands. He asked what kind. I said I would figure it out. He said the kids needed a clear plan. I told him he was obsessed with plans because he could not handle feelings. Ava asked if we could go to the park after lunch. Ethan said yes. Miles asked if I would come too. I said maybe. Ethan looked at me, and he did not try to argue. That bothered me more than a fight. It felt like he had stopped asking for my approval. Around noon, I said I needed to run out for a bit. Ethan asked where I was going. I said I was meeting a friend for coffee. He asked which friend. I said he did not need names for everything. He asked if it was Graham. I laughed, like it was silly. I said he was stuck on that because he wanted someone to blame. He did not raise his voice. He said if I was going, he needed to know when I would be back because of the kids. I said I would be back soon. He said soon was not a time. I said he was acting like my boss again. He said he was acting like a parent. I left anyway. In the car, I told myself I was not doing anything wrong because I was not taking money or hurting anyone. I did not like thinking about what I was actually doing, so I kept my mind on my own comfort, like it was a right. The coffee shop near the office was busy even on weekends. Graham was there at a corner table. He stood up when he saw me, like I was special. He asked how things were at home. I said Ethan had turned cold and controlling. I said he made everything feel like a test. Graham said I deserved someone who trusted me. I nodded hard, as if trust meant no questions at all. Graham talked about his divorce again. He said his ex had never appreciated him. He said he had been lonely for years. I told him I understood. I did not think about why he was divorced. I only thought about how his words made me feel like a rescue mission. He asked if I ever imagined us together again. I said it was complicated because of the kids. He said the kids would adapt if I was happy. I liked hearing that. It sounded simple. It sounded like a pass. When he reached for my hand, I let it happen. I told myself it was not a big deal. I told myself Ethan had stopped earning my loyalty. I said that in my head like a rule. I did not say it out loud, because out loud it sounded ugly. I checked my phone and saw a message from Ethan asking if I could pick up milk on my way back. It was normal, almost boring. I felt a flash of anger anyway, like his normal life was an insult. I did not answer right away. Graham asked what I was thinking. I said I was tired of being treated like a suspect. He said Ethan sounded controlling. I agreed quickly. I left out the part where I had been lying. On the way home, I stopped at the supermarket. I walked through the aisles like I was doing something responsible. At checkout, I tapped the shared card without thinking. The screen flashed an error. I tried again. Same error. People behind me shifted and sighed. My face got hot. I dug in my purse for another card. It went through. I told myself the shared card must be broken, but I knew it was not broken. It was a choice. Ethan had made a choice and not announced it, and that felt like an attack. When I got to the car, I finally texted Ethan and asked why the card declined. He replied that he had separated some accounts for now and would cover kid needs directly. He said it was for clarity. He said it was not punishment. I stared at the message and felt like he had slapped me, even though it was only words and only money. At home, I put groceries away with loud movements, hoping Ethan would feel guilty. He did not rush in to calm me. He was in the living room with the kids, building a puzzle with Miles. Ava was reading on the rug. I said the card had declined at the store. Ethan asked if I used the shared card. I said yes. He said he had told me he was organizing finances. I said he never told me he would embarrass me in public. He said he did not control the checkout screen. I said he should have warned me because he knew I would use it. He said I could use my own card for now, and they would keep kid expenses clean. I called that controlling. He called it practical. He asked if we could talk calmly later. I said calm was his way of avoiding accountability. He asked what accountability I meant. I said he had made me lonely. He asked how he made me lonely when he was home every night with the kids. I said being home did not mean being present. He said he had asked me directly what I needed, and I had not answered. I said he should just know. After lunch, Ethan took the kids to the playground like he promised. I went too, because I did not want to look like the parent who never shows up. At the park, Ethan pushed Miles on the swing. Ava climbed and waved. Other parents smiled at Ethan and said hello. He looked like the stable one. That made me feel like I was losing. Ava ran over and asked if we could all go for ice cream later. Ethan said maybe, depending on time. Ava looked at me and asked if I was coming home for dinner. I said yes, even though I was not sure. She asked why Dad slept in the guest room. I said Dad was stressed and needed space. She asked if it was her fault. I said no, and my voice got tight. Ethan heard her question and walked over. He told Ava it was not her fault and that both parents loved her. He said grown-up problems were not for kids to fix. His voice was steady. I hated how good it sounded. In the car on the way home, Ethan asked if we could agree on next week's schedule. He said he needed to know which evenings I would be out. I said he was planning to replace me. He said he was planning to protect the kids from surprises. I said surprises were part of life. He said children needed routine more than adults did. That night, after the kids were asleep, I walked past the hallway office area and saw Ethan's laptop open for a second. A spreadsheet was on the screen, rows and columns like a quiet wall. He closed it when he noticed me. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I asked organizing what? He said household things. I went upstairs and messaged Graham. I told him Ethan was acting cold and weird with money. Graham replied that Ethan sounded petty and that I deserved better. I felt comforted for a moment, like I had a team. Then I heard the soft hum of a shredder downstairs, short and controlled, and I told myself it was nothing. I told myself Ethan was just cleaning old papers. I told myself I still had time to win the story. The next week, I decided I needed a bigger stage. I had tried private fights and social posts, but Ethan would not give me the loud reaction I wanted. So I planned a family dinner. I told myself it was to fix things. Really, I wanted witnesses. I wanted people to look at Ethan and see the villain I described. I picked a family restaurant with a long table and bright lights. It was the kind of place where the staff smiled too much and everyone could hear your business if you spoke a little louder. I invited my parents, my sister Naomi, Ethan's parents, and his sister Tara. I also told Janelle about it, and she said she wished she could come, like it was entertainment. Before we left, Ethan asked if we could keep it calm for the kids. I said I always kept it calm, and he was the one who made tension. He asked if I could stop bringing private issues into public spaces. I said he wanted privacy because he was wrong. At the restaurant, Ava and Miles sat between us. Ethan helped Miles with a straw. I watched Ethan's hands. He looked normal, almost kind. That annoyed me because it made my story harder to sell. My mother, Deborah, started the dinner like a host. She asked Ethan how work was, but her tone was sharp. Ethan answered politely. My father, Caleb, stayed quiet and stared at the menu even after ordering. Naomi looked at me like she was waiting for me to behave. Ethan's mother, Marilyn, asked Ava about school. Ava said she liked reading time. Ethan's father, Ron, asked Miles about his favorite cartoon. For a moment, it looked like a normal family dinner. I could not let it stay normal. Normal meant Ethan looked steady. When plates arrived, I started. I said I felt lonely in my own home. I said Ethan treated me like a schedule. I said he had become cold. Ethan asked what I meant by cold. I said he did not touch me or compliment me, and I said he acted like I was a problem to manage. I kept my voice calm, like I was brave and honest. Tara's eyes narrowed a little. Ron paused with his fork mid-air. Marilyn did not react at all, which felt like judgment. Ethan said he did not want to discuss marriage details at dinner. He said we could talk later. I said he always wanted to talk later because he never wanted to face things. I said he cared more about looking good than fixing the truth. He asked me to lower my voice because the kids were listening. I said he was trying to silence me. My mother jumped in. She said a wife should not have to beg for basic love. She said Ethan needed to stop acting like a victim. Ethan looked at her and said he was not a victim and he did not want to fight. He said his priority was stability for the children. That word, stability, irritated me. It sounded like something a judge would say. It sounded like he was practicing. I leaned into it and said he was using the kids to control me. Ethan asked how he was controlling me. I said he had separated accounts and embarrassed me at the store. Ron asked what happened at the store. I described the card declining like it was public punishment. Ethan said he had told me he was organizing finances and that kid needs were covered. I said he did it to shame me. He said he did it to keep things clear. Naomi finally spoke. She asked me, carefully, if I'd been honest about where I was going when I stayed out late. I felt my face tighten. I told her she was taking Ethan's side. She said she was not taking sides. She was asking a question. I said questions were how control starts. Ethan's mother asked one quiet question. She asked if our late nights and arguments were happening in front of Ava and Miles. I said no, because I needed that to be true for my image. Ethan said the kids had heard enough to ask questions. Ava stared at her water cup. Miles swung his feet under the table. I tried to pull the room back to my side. I said Ethan had been distant for months, and that any woman would break under that. I did not say Graham's name, but I let the air suggest I had reasons. My mother nodded hard. Tara did not nod at all. Ethan said he would not argue in front of the children. He said he hoped everyone could focus on the kids and keep the night respectful. I heard how controlled he sounded, and I hated it. It made me feel like the loud one, so I did what I always did. I made myself the wounded person. I said Ethan's calm was fake. I said he only acted calm so people would doubt me. Ethan asked me to stop. He said the kids were right there. I said he never cared about my feelings, only rules. Then I pushed my chair back too fast, like I was about to cry, but I did not cry. I wanted the scene, not the tears. After dinner, in the parking lot, my mother told me I did the right thing by speaking up. My father said nothing. Naomi asked if I was okay, but her tone sounded like concern, mixed with disappointment. I told her she did not understand what it was like to be married to someone who monitored you. She said Ethan had not seemed like a monitor at the table. I said he was good at acting. The next day, I went to the school pickup line early on purpose. I wanted the staff to see me as the present parent. I waited in the car and checked my phone. I had messages from Janelle asking how the dinner went. I typed back that everyone saw Ethan's true face. I believed that because I needed to believe it. When the line moved, Ms. Delgado in the front office waved and asked for my ID, because the school had rules. I felt annoyed, like rules were a personal insult. Ethan's car pulled in behind me. That surprised me. He normally came later. When I got out, Ethan walked up calmly and asked if we could talk for 1 minute. I said we could talk at home. He said he wanted to confirm the schedule for the week so there would be no confusion for staff. He spoke like he was careful not to create drama. Ms. Delgado listened without looking like she listened. I said he was making it a performance. He said he was making it clear. He asked if I would be picking up on Thursday or if he should. I said I would do it, even though I was not sure. He said if I was not sure, he needed the truth. I said he was pushing me. He said he was asking. Ava and Miles came out. Ava walked straight to Ethan first. She hugged him without thinking. I told myself it was because he had been playing the good guy. Miles asked if we were going for snacks. Ethan said yes. I said yes too, like my answer mattered. That evening, at home, I tried again to pull Ethan into a fight. I said the dinner proved everyone agreed he was cold. Ethan said not everyone agreed. He said the conversation had been inappropriate in front of the kids. I said he was blaming me for being honest. He said honesty was not the same as public humiliation. Later, I heard the printer in the hall office area start up. One sheet slid out. When I passed, I saw it was blank. Ethan picked it up, stared at it for a second, and then folded it and put it in the trash. The air smelled faintly like toner. I asked what he was printing. He said it was nothing important. I said he was hiding paperwork. He said he was handling household tasks. I told him he was doing it to scare me. He said he was not trying to scare me. Before bed, I noticed something else. When Ethan set his keys on the counter, there was a new key on the ring. It was not the house key and not the car key. It was small, plain, and unfamiliar. I asked what it was for. Ethan said it was for something personal. I said married people should not have personal locks. He said everyone deserved privacy. I walked upstairs with my phone in my hand, and I told myself I was still in control. But I also knew the room had shifted. Ethan was not chasing me anymore. He was building something quiet, piece by piece, and I could feel it even when he said almost nothing. I started acting like the marriage was already over, even though we still lived under the same roof. I told myself I was being brave. I told myself Ethan had pushed me into it. I said those things in my head until they sounded true. At work, I leaned into the performance. I walked a little taller. I smiled more. I made sure people saw me handling a hard season. When Kelsey asked if I could take on a new account, I said yes right away. I wanted to look valuable. I wanted a reason to be out late. In the break area, Janelle asked how the family dinner went. I said it was messy because Ethan could not take feedback. I said his family acted like I was the enemy. Janelle said I should stop trying to please everyone. I said I was done pleading. I watched her face light up, and I felt relief, like approval was proof. Around midday, I got a message from Graham. He asked if I wanted to meet after work. I said yes before thinking. He asked if I could stay overnight. I told myself it was only one night. I told myself it was a test. I told myself Ethan needed to see I had options. When I got home that evening, Ethan was at the kitchen table with a notebook. Ava was doing homework. Miles was drawing cars. Ethan asked if I could confirm Thursday pickup again. I felt my jaw tighten. I said he kept asking because he wanted to trap me into commitments. He said he asked because the kids had school, and the school needed consistency. Ava looked up and asked if she could go to a friend's birthday party on Saturday. Ethan said yes, and asked me if I could take her. I said I would see. Ethan asked if I could give a clear answer by Friday. I said he was making everything feel like a contract. He said parenting needed planning. I went upstairs and changed clothes, and I kept my phone in my hand like it was my lifeline. I saw a notification on Ethan's phone when I passed the hallway table. It was a cloud sync message that said a file uploaded successfully. I pretended I did not see it, but it sat inside me like a pebble in a shoe. After dinner, I told Ethan I might stay with a friend for a few nights. I did not say Graham's name. I wanted Ethan to guess so I could call him jealous. Ethan asked where I would be. I said he did not need details. He said he needed details because of the kids. I said the kids would be fine because they had him. He said they deserved both parents, but they also deserve predictability. I tried to turn that into an insult. I said he wanted to replace me with routines. He said he wanted to protect the kids from last-minute changes. I said he was using the kids as a shield. He said he was using the kids as a priority. I went to pack a small bag and left it by the stairs on purpose, so he could see it. I expected him to ask me not to go. I expected him to bargain. I expected him to break, but he did not. Instead, he walked into the hallway office area and closed the door halfway. I heard the soft click of a drawer again. Then I heard another sound, like a small device being set down. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was recording me to twist things. That thought made me feel righteous, like it gave me permission to do whatever I wanted. The next day, I went to work early. I told myself it was for productivity. Really, I wanted distance from the house. In the morning meeting, I spoke more than usual. I made jokes. I acted like a woman who had finally chosen herself. People nodded like they understood. During lunch, I saw Ethan in the downtown office tower lobby through the glass doors as I walked past. He was standing near the elevators, holding his phone and a plain folder. Nothing had logos on it, no big signs. He looked like a man waiting for an appointment. He did not look guilty. That irritated me. I wanted him to look nervous. I ducked behind a column and watched him for a few seconds. He checked the time, like he was on schedule. He put the folder into his bag and walked toward the elevators without rushing. I told myself he was meeting someone to punish me. I told myself he was planning something unfair. I did not ask him about it later because I did not want an answer I could not control. That afternoon, I messaged Graham and asked if I could come by. He replied fast. He said he had missed me. He said I should not feel guilty for wanting happiness. I felt warm for a moment. Then I felt annoyed again, because part of me noticed how easy he was when he did not have to deal with homework, lunches, and sick days. At the school pickup line, I arrived late. I blamed traffic. Ms. Delgado asked me to sign a form because the pickup plan had changed too many times that week. I felt embarrassed. I said the school was overreacting. She said it was policy. When Ethan arrived a few minutes later, she greeted him calmly. She asked him to confirm his contact number. He did it without complaint. In the car, Ava asked why Dad looked tired all the time. I said he worked too much. Ava asked if I was going to sleep at home that night. I said I might sleep somewhere else. Ava asked if it was because of her. I said no. Ethan turned slightly in the driver's seat and told her it was not her fault, and it would never be her fault. He spoke like he had practiced staying steady. When we got home, Ethan went straight to the kitchen and started making dinner. He moved like he was in charge of a routine now. I hated that I respected it. I waited until after the kids were in bed. Then I said I might stay with Graham for a few nights. I said it like it was a small choice, like it did not break anything. Ethan asked if that was what I wanted. I said I wanted space. He asked if I could define space, because space changed the kids' schedule. I said I did not need to define it. He said he needed a plan. I told him he was doing this to punish me. He said he was not punishing me. He said he was trying to prevent chaos. I said I was not chaotic. He said our week had already been chaotic. I said that was because he kept pressuring me. He said he had asked for clarity and I had refused it. I tried a different angle. I said his calm tone was fake and cruel. I said he was acting like a robot. He said he was choosing not to escalate. I said he did not care about my feelings. He said he cared, but he would not argue in circles anymore. I watched him closely, waiting for the crack. I wanted him to beg. I wanted him to shout. I wanted something I could show others. But he only looked at me for a long second, like he was measuring the moment and deciding what it was worth. Then he said he would handle it properly. The next morning, Ethan said we would meet downtown. He did not say why. He only said it was about the kids and the house, and he said it needed to be done in the right way. I asked if he was trying to scare me. He said he was trying to finish the chaos. I told myself it was a bluff. I put on a blazer like I was going to a meeting because I wanted to look calm. I even practiced a face in the mirror, the one that says I am reasonable and tired and misunderstood. I drove to the courthouse and parked too far away because the closer lots were full. I walked fast, like speed could make me innocent. In the lobby, people moved in lines and spoke in low voices. I saw Ethan near a wall, standing straight with his hands empty. He was not pacing, he was not angry. His sister Tara was there, quiet, holding a small bag. Ethan's parents sat on a bench, close together, like they had done this before, in life even if not in court. It felt unfair that he had a team. I walked up and asked what this was. Ethan said we would follow the process. I asked why he could not just talk to me at home. He said we had talked at home, and I had turned it into circles. He said this was about facts now. A man in plain clothes walked toward me and asked if I was Undine Pierce. I said yes. He handed me papers and said I had been served. He said I could read them and follow the instructions. His voice was neutral, like he was handing me a menu. I held the packet and felt the heat rise in my face because people around us looked over. I asked Ethan if he really did this in public. He said he did not choose the lobby. He said he chose the legal way. I said he was trying to humiliate me. He said I had been humiliating him for weeks online and in front of family, and he had not responded the same way. I flipped through the pages and saw words that made my stomach drop. There were temporary orders, schedules, and rules. There was a clear plan for the kids' weeks. There were limits on communication, and it said messages should stay about the children. There was a request about the home, who stays, and how exchanges would work. It felt like my life had been turned into boxes. I asked him if he was trying to take my children. He said he was trying to keep their routine safe. I said he was punishing me for wanting space. He said space was a choice, and choices have outcomes. When we went into the hearing room, everything felt smaller. The judge sat above us and looked tired, like nothing shocked her anymore. Ethan stood in his place and spoke carefully. He did not raise his voice once. He answered questions with dates and times. I wanted him to show anger, but he did not. The judge asked me why I had left the house overnight and why my pickup times changed so often. I said work was intense. I said Ethan pressured me and made it hard to think. The judge asked for specifics. I said I did not remember every detail because I was stressed. The judge asked if I had been posting about Ethan online. I said I was expressing feelings. The judge asked if I had implied he was controlling or unsafe. I said I felt controlled. She asked if I had proof of threats or violence. I said no, not like that. I tried to say his calm was emotional cruelty. The judge said the court works with actions and evidence. Ethan's side showed a timeline. They showed school logs and the front office notes. They showed messages where he asked for schedules, and I avoided answers. They showed spending records that matched my work nights. They showed my posts, with dates, where I painted him as a villain. They even mentioned the supermarket decline and explained the financial separation as a temporary safeguard, not a trap. It sounded neat and reasonable, and I hated that. The judge asked me if I had maintained stability for the children during this period. I said the kids were fine with me. She asked why Ava asked the school staff if Dad would pick her up instead. That detail hit me like a slap, because it meant my child had been adjusting without me. I tried to cry. I tried to say I was only human and I deserved happiness. The judge said, happiness is not the legal standard. She said stability and honesty matter when children are involved. She said the record showed Ethan had been consistent and I had been unpredictable. Then she ruled. She granted Ethan the primary temporary schedule. She granted him temporary use of the home for the children's routine. She ordered that exchanges be structured and calm, and that communication be limited and documented. She warned me about public statements and said any further shaming could affect future decisions. She said the court sided with Ethan's plan because it was clear, lawful, and child-focused. I looked at Ethan and waited for a reaction, but he only nodded once, like a man hearing weather. Tara put a hand on his mother's shoulder. My hands shook around the papers, and the judge's words stayed in the air as Ethan turned and walked out with my children's week written in ink.